I've looked at everything from every angle I possibly could.
People think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all.
I feel like unrelatable, or I feel like sometimes I have to speak differently or carry myself differently in order to assimilate myself.
So when I tell you that it's hard, I just mean to be inside my brain.
It was really awkward.
Let's take a moment to chat about the creative clash that's got Hollywood all abuzz. So Jenna Ortega and Rachel Zegler have found themselves in a bit of a disagreement over how Disney is approaching its storytelling these days. Jenna has been pretty vocal about her feelings regarding Disney's changes to their classic stories. She recently said something like, "You know, I love that there are a lot more female leads now, it's so special. But we really should have our own stories. I'm not a fan of just spinning off old ones. I mean, do we really need to see Jamie Bond? I'd much rather see another powerful female character." Jenna is all about keeping the heart of the story intact. She's not into just swapping male characters for female ones or changing their races to fit a more modern agenda. Now, let's talk about this intriguing project called Project Blue Wave. While the details are a bit murky, it's rumored to be a Disney movie that would bring together a bunch of fairy tale characters into one big animated film, focusing on diversity with LGBTQ and non-binary characters. Sounds pretty ambitious, right? But Jenna wasn't feeling it at all. She thought the emphasis was more on pushing a social message rather than really building strong, well-rounded characters with solid storylines. And honestly, worried about how this could affect her career, Jenna decided to step back. On the flip side, Rachel Zegler was left feeling quite disappointed by Jenna's choice. She's been a strong advocate for Disney's push toward inclusivity and saw Project Blue Wave as an exciting step forward. So with Jenna backing out, it definitely put a damper on things for Rachel, who was really looking forward to what this project could mean for Disney's evolving storytelling. Jenna hasn't shied away from sharing her thoughts. Either she's openly critiqued Hollywood's trend of changing established characters' genders or races. She argues that creating new, original roles would make a lot more sense. Why rewrite what's already out there, she asks. This whole debate has fans pretty divided. Some are cheering for Jenna, supporting her stand for traditional storytelling, while others feel she's resisting much-needed progress. But here's the thing, this disagreement between Jenna and Rachel isn't just about one project, it's part of a larger conversation that's reshaping the entertainment industry today. Disney's commitment to more diverse storytelling is changing how stories are crafted and how actors choose their roles. The big question hanging in the air is Disney really leading a necessary evolution, or are they at risk of pushing away fans who love the classics just as they are? Now, let's talk about Rachel Zegler's career, which is reportedly facing some challenges. She was supposed to star in Paddington 3, but then she was dropped from the project just a few weeks ago. The studio claimed it was because of the actors' strike, but here's the kicker. There are other actors involved in Paddington 3 who are also part of SAG, and they're still filming. So, people are speculating that there's more going on here, and it likely ties back to the backlash surrounding Snow White. Studios might be hesitant to hire her, worried that it could hurt their box office success. So, Rachel is finding it tough to land future roles, and it's not just about bad PR. There are a lot of reasons behind her struggles in Hollywood that go deeper than what people might think. From her controversial comments to some questionable social media choices, Rachel has landed in hot water more than once. Fans are wondering, are her strong opinions and political views hurting her chances at snagging roles? Or are her attempts to grab attention for big parts making producers a bit hesitant? With projects like Snow White already in her rearview mirror, and talk of boycotts gaining momentum, Rachel is looking at a challenging future in an industry that can be pretty cutthroat. So let's explore why Rachel Zegler's career seems to be stalling and why the spotlight that once shined so brightly on her is starting to dim.
I mean, talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Not only are you being casted in a classic film to remake it, but you don't seemingly like your own character. So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
So, Rachel Zegler's role as Snow White is really getting a lot of attention, but not all of it is good. When the trailer for Snow White 2025 dropped, it didn't quite hit the mark for Disney. Instead of generating excitement, it led to a wave of disappointment and criticism from fans. Social media blew up with comments about how the film feels disconnected from what audiences were hoping for. A lot of longtime fans feel like the movie is straying too far from the classic story they love, and this has created quite a backlash. Disney knows how important public perception is to its success, and they recently acknowledged that our revenues and profitability can really take a hit when our offerings don't resonate with consumers. So, when projects miss the mark, it can mean big financial losses for them. With Snow White already facing controversy, Zegler's involvement could jeopardize its financial success. It's wild to think that she's considered one of the least liked Disney princesses, even before the film has come out. Critics are saying her portrayal doesn't match the traditional image of Snow White, who was originally described as having skin as white as snow. This casting choice has led to some heated debates, especially since the story has its roots in 19th century Germany. The decision to cast a darker-skinned actress from Colombia raises questions about Disney's motivations. Many believe they might be prioritizing social agendas over staying true to the character's authenticity, which could alienate audiences who cherish the original tale and feel the character's essence is being compromised. On top of that, Zegler's public comments about Snow White have stirred the pot with fans who feel like she's dismissing the character's legacy. By downplaying the original story, she risks turning away the very audience that Disney needs to succeed. Some of her remarks can come off as ungrateful or out of touch, which is not a great look for her. If Snow White flops, it won't just be a financial setback for Disney, it could also seriously impact Zegler's reputation and future career opportunities. Disney has faced backlash for previous remakes that fans felt didn't respect the original stories. And if Snow White ends up facing the same fate, it could really tarnish Disney's brand and its ability to produce beloved adaptations moving forward. Plus, studios are increasingly on the lookout for actors who can generate positive vibes with the public. With Zegler's controversial statements and growing criticism surrounding her role, Disney might start to see her as a liability. If audiences link Zegler to a failed project, it could hurt her chances of landing future roles with Disney. In an industry where public approval is so important, Zegler's connection to this controversial film could hinder her prospects in Hollywood. If Snow White doesn't perform well at the box office, the fallout could be felt for years, not just for Disney but for Zegler's career in the film industry. Now, when we look at Rachel Zegler compared to her peers, it's pretty clear she's struggling to gain the same level of admiration, even though she's landing lead roles. Take Jenna Ortega, for instance. She's received tons of praise for her role as Wednesday Addams in Wednesday. Ortega honors the original Addams Family legacy while bringing fresh energy to her character, quickly becoming a fan favorite and racking up a bunch of accolades, including major award nominations. Her successful balance of respecting the character while innovating is the kind of approach that really resonates with audiences. On the flip side, Zegler's handling of her role as Snow White has been a bit controversial. Rather than embracing the character's traditional aspects, Zegler has openly criticized the story and its themes, suggesting that Snow White is outdated and needs to be revamped for today's audiences. While some fans appreciate new takes, many feel Zegler's dismissive remarks push them away from the character they love, making it hard for them to connect with her portrayal. Other actresses, like Millie Bobby Brown, have also navigated iconic roles with grace and respect. In Stranger Things, Brown brings depth to her character Eleven, earning a massive following and critical acclaim. Fans appreciate her ability to stay true to her character's essence while allowing for growth, which ultimately strengthens her connection with viewers. Plus, Zegler's public persona often stands in stark contrast to her peers. While actresses like Florence Pugh engage with fans in a genuine and humble way, Zegler's approach might leave something to be desired. In this competitive world of entertainment, you can't underestimate the importance of public perception. A recent look at Rachel Zegler's approach to her role as Snow White shows just how different the paths of two rising stars, Zegler and Jenna Ortega, can be. Even though both have found success, their methods and attitudes toward their roles have put them in very different lights. Zegler's portrayal of Snow White has sparked quite a debate, mainly due to her outspoken criticisms of the original character. Many fans see her approach as entitled and dismissive, putting her at odds with those who have deep emotional connections to this classic tale. For a lot of people, this Disney princess isn't just a character, she represents nostalgia, innocence, and those cherished childhood memories. So when Zegler critiques this iconic figure, it opens her up to backlash from audiences who feel loyal to Snow White and the values she embodies. This disconnect between Zegler's modern take and what longtime fans expect might explain the hurdles she's facing in gaining traction in an industry where public opinion holds so much weight. You know, Jenna Ortega has really made a name for herself as a standout talent, and it's hard not to admire her respectful approach to her roles. She connects with both audiences and critics, showing that she gets the importance of honoring the characters she plays. This attitude has helped her build a solid public image in Hollywood. On the flip side, Rachel Zegler is definitely landing some lead roles, but the way she's handling her portrayal of Snow White might put her long-term career at risk, especially if the film doesn't land well with audiences. The stakes are pretty high for Zegler. A movie like Snow White is crucial not just for her current career but for her future as well. If the film gets bad reviews and flops at the box office, it could really change her career path. Casting directors might hesitate to offer her roles in major projects, especially ones featuring beloved characters that fans adore. The industry can be tough, and reputations are so delicate. If a big project goes south, it can have major consequences. Look at actresses like Ortega and Nia Long. Their successes highlight how aligning respect for iconic characters with what audiences expect can really pay off. Both have shown that a thoughtful approach to character portrayal doesn't just get you critical praise, but also real support from fans. By staying true to their roles while adding their own twist, they've managed to create a connection between classic narratives and today's audience, which is a win-win for everyone involved. Now, Zegler's take on Snow White might end up making it harder for her to land leading roles in future Disney films. The legacy of characters like Snow White is woven with emotional connections that span generations. Ignoring that legacy for a more modern twist could push away the very fans who could help her thrive. Zegler's challenges are amplified in today's landscape, where audiences are more engaged and vocal than ever. Social media makes it super easy for fan reactions to shape an actress's career. One slip-up can lead to a rapid drop in public favor, and we've seen that happen to other celebs before. So, in wrapping this up, while Rachel Zegler's bold approach to her role in Snow White might seem brave, it's full of potential pitfalls. Respecting the source material, like Jenna Ortega does, often leads to not only critical success but also a strong bond with fans. If Zegler doesn't adjust her critical stance, it might hurt her long-term career in an industry that rewards those who truly respect the characters they portray. As the entertainment world keeps evolving, it's essential for actresses to navigate these waters carefully, balancing talent with a genuine respect for the stories they tell. On top of that, Zegler's career is also feeling the pressure from her political statements. One tweet that really stirred the pot was her comment to always remember Free Palestine. That got a mixed bag of reactions. Some folks praised her for speaking up, while others accused her of adding to the divide during a sensitive time. The backlash has been pretty intense, putting Zegler in a tricky spot regarding her public image. Her political statements have turned into a double-edged sword. She has every right to share her thoughts, but the timing and content of her remarks have raised some eyebrows in Hollywood. Studios often weigh the potential backlash from fans when deciding whom to cast. If an actor is wrapped up in controversy, especially with divisive political issues, studios might choose to keep their distance to avoid alienating parts of their audience. Things got even trickier because of her co-star, Gal Gadot, who has faced criticism for supporting the Israeli military. While Zegler has made her stance on Palestine clear, it looks like she's trying to distance herself from Gadot. Some fans think Zegler is playing it smart by deflecting the negative attention onto Gadot. It raises some important questions. Is Zegler genuinely neutral? Or is she just trying to navigate the controversy to protect her image? Hollywood insiders often talk about how crucial it is to stay away from polarizing topics, especially for actors hoping to build lasting careers. The sanctions BDS movement has taken notice of the situation, and they've been vocal about their opposition to Snow White, claiming that Gadot's involvement in the film represents support for military actions in Palestine. PCBI, a pro-Palestinian arm of the BDS, tweeted strong accusations saying that Gadot is promoting military propaganda and calling Israel's actions live-streamed genocide. This kind of language is powerful and paints a negative picture of both actresses, linking them together in the eyes of the public. The BDS movement even called for a boycott of Snow White, urging supporters to take action and show Disney that no company is too big to feel the consequences of their actions. The fallout from these political statements has created a chaotic environment for Zegler. Even if she tries to keep her distance from the controversy surrounding Gadot, being associated with the film means she is part of the discussion. This ongoing political drama adds to the reasons why audiences might skip Snow White when it finally hits theaters. Fans are increasingly concerned about how the film aligns with their beliefs, and Zegler's political stance complicates her career prospects. As Zegler's public image continues to be shaped by her political statements, studios may hesitate to cast her in lead roles moving forward. The entertainment industry often prefers to work with actors who have a stable, positive public presence, as they can help sell movies and attract audiences. Zegler's controversial views and actions have the potential to deter audiences, leading to decreased box office returns. This financial risk makes casting directors think twice before giving her significant roles, especially in family-friendly films where public perception is crucial. In a competitive industry like Hollywood, where many talented actors are vying for the same roles, Zegler's political controversies may push her further down the casting list. If studios see her as a liability due to the potential backlash her involvement could provoke, they may opt for safer choices actors who can contribute to a positive public image and avoid any complications that might arise from political controversies. Rachel Zegler is reportedly having trouble landing roles. She was supposed to star in Paddington 3, but was dropped from the film a few weeks ago. The studio claimed it was because of the actors' strike. However, many of the actors in Paddington 3 are part of the SAG union, but are still allowed to star in the film. Others suggest that it may have been due to another reason, most likely the repercussions of the Snow White affair, with studios reluctant to hire her for fear that her involvement would damage box office receipts. She had also lent her voice to the main character of an upcoming cartoon for Apple TV, and people are wondering why Apple abandoned it in the first place. Many are once again putting forward the idea that it was because of the controversy surrounding Snow White and the fear that the film would suffer as a result. Rachel Zegler already knows who she would play in all of the upcoming Star Wars movies and TV shows. Here are her words as a fan of the comics: "I would like to throw my hat in the ring to voice Shara Bay, mother of Poe Dameron, because her ship was an RZ-1 in my initial for Green Squadron." Really? Rachel Zegler's future in Hollywood is looking increasingly uncertain, particularly after her involvement in Snow White and the backlash surrounding it. Although she aimed to take on the role of a modernized Snow White, her outspoken political stances have raised eyebrows, leading to criticism and diminished opportunities. One notable incident occurred when she tweeted, "Always remember, Free Palestine," igniting a heated debate online. Some supporters praised her for using her platform to voice her beliefs, while others accused her of worsening divisions within the industry and among fans. Zegler's political statements have seemingly complicated her relationship with producers. When controversy surrounds a project, studios often prefer to avoid any backlash that could stem from an actor's outspoken opinions. This leaves Zegler in a precarious position, as her career now hangs in the balance, and she might be perceived as a liability rather than an asset. Furthermore, Zegler has been accused of subtly distancing herself from her Snow White co-star Gadot, who has faced criticism for her pro-Israel stance. Some fans have speculated that Zegler is attempting to deflect negative attention away from herself by allowing Gadot to take the brunt of the backlash. In a time when public opinion can make or break a career, this political drama has made Zegler's path to future roles even murkier. Now let's talk about Rachel's future, which looks pretty shaky. She made headlines again recently for practically begging Disney to cast her in the Star Wars universe. Her reasoning, her initials, RZ, match a ship designation from the Star Wars comics. Seriously, she pointed out that her name aligns perfectly with the RZ-1, a winged starfighter series, and therefore she should be cast as Poe Dameron's mother.